that if you believe that Donald Trump's going to get 20% of the black vote, I will sell you a bridge in Brooklyn.
No, I don't. But I don't believe.
Excuse me, but this, you should care, because even without the age issue with Biden, there's going to be the Genocide Joe protesters at the convention. This is a split in the party.
But he has a great deal of experience. He can talk to Hispanic voters in ways and communicate in ways that otherwise Trump and Burgum would have trouble doing. And he's a notable opponent against Kamala Harris in the debate. And there's no concern over Burgum or JD Vance. JD Vance is Adiaphras. He stands for nothing.
The politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for, who are meeting the moment with the same energy that
they're not asking for AOC.
Yes, they are.
The people you party with are.
No. The people I party with don't like AOC.
Oh, please.
Bill Maher just went nuclear. And let's be honest, it was long overdue. The man's officially out of chill and lighting up every woke pundit in sight. His latest victim? None other than CNN's go-to race hustler and professional victimhood salesman, Bakari Sellers. And folks, this wasn't a debate. This was a flamethrower session disguised as an interview. Maher didn't pull punches. He dropped bombs, and Sellers didn't even bring a helmet. You're about to witness one of the most brutal takedowns in recent memory. So buckle up, because this roast had more heat than Death Valley at noon. But before we dive headfirst into the chaos, make sure you slam that subscribe button. This channel serves up raw, unfiltered truth every single week. And trust me, what's coming next is gonna shake some tables. All right, let's roll back to the exact moment Bakari Sellers smugly brushed off JD Vance like political lint. Spoiler, that smugness did not survive the segment.
The convention starts Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll postpone it.
Well, he's got to pick somebody over.
I would tell you that the only person who poses any fear for Democrats is probably Marco Rubio. Marco, he looks like the future. He has a great deal of experience. He can talk to Hispanic voters in ways and communicate in ways that otherwise Trump and Burgum would have trouble doing. And he's a notable opponent against Kamala Harris in the debate. And there's no concern over Burgum or JD Vance. JD Vance is Adiaphras. He stands for nothing.
Well, that aged like milk in the sun. I would have loved to see Bakari Sellers' face when that clip came back in glorious HD. The guy seriously said, with a straight face, that Trump and JD Vance couldn't beat Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. That's not a prediction, that's political fan fiction. Be honest, do they have a dartboard at CNN labeled delusional takes? Because this one felt like a midnight ramble fueled by boxed wine and wishful thinking. What did Kamala and Walz even stand for? Anyone? No. Meanwhile, Trump and Vance were out there defending women's sports, fighting for free speech, and taking on Big Gov like actual grown-ups. But I digress. This roast only gets hotter. So let's roll the next clip.
The other thing is that Trump has a habit of going off the board, right? I mean, he likes the surprise.
This is going to be apprentice.
It's going to
make
Kevin
you
McCarthy.
all think around. He's going to make you guess where it is.
That's who it is right there.
He's going to make you sign up for
Exactly. While the media clowns were busy playing checkers, Trump was out here playing four-dimensional chess in a room full of amateurs who forgot the rules. He let the rumors swirl, kept everyone chasing shadows, then boom, dropped JD Vance like the plot twist no one saw coming. And guess what? It worked. Like clockwork, Trump's not just a guy with a mic, he's a political assassin with perfect aim. While Democrats mocked him, while pundits laughed him off, he was stacking the deck, flipping battlegrounds and turning doubters into spectators. They said he was done. They said JD Vance was a nobody. Now they're watching, stunned, as Trump and Vance bulldoze their way to the finish line, while Kamala and Walz are out here waving at invisible crowds. Underestimating Trump? That's the most reliable way to lose in American politics.
But the real challenge is Black America has switched off of Biden. They're not voting for Trump, but they're not turning out. So he has to win one of those three. But if you put Virginia,
we haven't had the election yet.
Explain.
So
yeah, I know. I mean, Donald Trump got 8% of the black vote in 2020. In 2020.
He's 20% of the men.
He's polling 22%. The highest person
First of all,
in modern history is
Mr. Speaker, if you believe that Donald Trump's going to get 20% of the black vote, I will sell you a bridge in Brooklyn.
No, I don't. But I don't believe. I do not believe.
Of course, Trump wasn't supposed to get the black vote. At least not if race hustlers like Bakari Sellers had anything to say about it. These guys have built careers off victimhood and fear, painting Trump as some cartoon villain lurking in every shadow. It's not about empowerment. It's about control. But here's the twist they never saw coming. People are waking the hell up. In Wisconsin, Trump's support among black voters didn't just rise, it surged from 8% to a jaw-dropping 21%. That's not noise. That's a revolution. North Carolina, 9% to 12%. Quiet, steady, undeniable. Across swing states, the message is clear. Folks are done with identity politics and empty promises. No more gaslighting, no more fear tactics. Black Americans are choosing freedom over fear, facts over fiction, results over race-baiting rhetoric. And that's what's got the establishment shaking.
What do you make of the Democratic Socialists of America pulling its endorsement of AOC for not being sufficiently anti-Israel? Did that happen?
It did.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I mean,
I was like I was in the who cares category.
yeah. Same. I'm just looking for. Honestly, I'd like for the Democratic Party to pull its support from the pro-Hamas wing of the Democratic Party. That would be.
Well, I actually think
this is.
I think that
even without the age, excuse me, but this you should care because even without the age issue with Biden, there's going to be the Genocide Joe protesters at the convention. This is a split in the party.
But let me articulate this. I think that both parties have a real issue with anti-Semitism. And I don't think it has any place. I mean, I've seen the ads with the Star of David that you all ran in different House races.
Right.
I've heard the words that have come out of Donald Trump's mouth before. I mean, we can't turn a blind eye to the anti-Semitism that's in the Republican Party.
Here we go. Bakari Sellers playing dodgeball with the truth again. He barely blinks when the Democratic Socialists cut ties with AOC, because apparently not being anti-Semitic enough is now a deal breaker. Yeah, you heard that right. That's the new moral standard in some corners of the left. And when Bill Maher presses him on it, rightfully asking why no one's sounding the alarm over this growing anti-Semitism, Bakari doesn't answer. He swerves. Instead of addressing the rot in his own backyard, he pulls the classic move. Throw shade at Republicans and hope nobody notices the deflection. That's the hustle. That's the brand. It's not about truth. It's about staying in the spotlight. These grifters don't care who's getting hurt. Jewish communities, conservatives, independents, everyone's disposable as long as the outrage machine keeps humming and the media gigs keep rolling in. Their loyalty isn't to justice, it's to the narrative that pays the most. And if that means looking the other way while anti-Semitism festers on the left, so be it. As long as the camera's on and the check clears, they'll keep spinning.
The way I wanted to bring this full circle is that, yes, Democrats have to combat the anti-Semitism that's within our own party as well. It needs to be rooted out completely from both parties. That's my only point. It has no place. It has no place in the American political.
I agree. I obviously agree, and I personally have been targeted more than probably anyone else in America by alt-right anti-Semites. Okay, like truly by the statistics. As a conservative. Now, let me say that the vast disproportion of people who are anti-Semitic in America right now, unfortunately, I wish this were not true. I wish it were a non-bipartisan issue and there were no anti-Semitism. But the vast disproportion is inside the Democratic Party right now.
Let's not kid ourselves. Ben Shapiro's right. The Democratic Party's letting anti-Semitism fester in plain sight. Ilhan Omar's Benjamin's comment? That wasn't a gaffe. It was a dog whistle. And the outrage? Nowhere. The squad bashes Israel nonstop, cozies up to pro-Hamas rallies, and the left looks the other way. If this came from the right, the media would explode. But since it's their team, crickets. That's hypocrisy at its peak.
And I think that the Democratic Party should put the people out there who the people want. They should put the politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for, who are meeting the moment with the same energy that
they're not asking for AOC.
Yes, they are.
The people you party with are.
No. The people I party with don't like AOC.
Oh, please.
No, they don't at all.
Well, most people don't. But she's AOC, very far left.
Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Because because people will vote for AOC and Donald Trump on the same ticket. Because they're authentic. No, because they're authentic.
I don't think that Don.
I think you're wrong about that.
What people like about people like Trump and Fetterman is because it's irrelevant to her life.
Enter Don Lemon, another race-baiting pundit tossing out word salads so messy, you need subtitles just to keep up. He actually said something about AOC's critics partying with people who hate AOC. Whatever that means, it's like watching a bad soap opera with no plot. Just drama for drama's sake. Then he takes it up a notch and floats the idea of AOC and Trump on the same ticket. Seriously? What planet are we on? But that's Don Lemon in a nutshell. Forget logic. He's all in on outrage and identity buzzwords. He's not informing anyone. He's performing for the cameras. And every time he opens his mouth, the script shows.
I know that being a gorgeous woman who I wouldn't even know was Hispanic in a city that has 1 million Hispanics and does not treat them badly.
But that doesn't mean she doesn't struggle. That doesn't mean that she was set down.
It implies it.
But that doesn't mean that she was set down in a Hispanic ghetto in the Bronx and had to deal with that growing up, and that she's come from a working class family.
It implies that it implies that in some way she's behind the 8 ball because of that, and it's just not true. And so
I don't know if she's behind the 8 ball, but I don't think she's as privileged as many people who are in Congress right now.
She's not privileged or not. She was a bartender.
Yeah.
You know, so I was a delivery boy.
But I'm saying sometimes, Bill, you don't agree with Donald Trump's policies.
No.
But that's what the people want.
Some of them.
Whether you like her or not.
This right here is why I've got respect for Bill Maher. Love him or hate him, at least he doesn't dance around the truth. He's not afraid to call out what everyone else is too scared to say. In a world full of professional panderers, Maher tells it like it is. No sugarcoating. Let's be real. The race card has turned into a business model. Some people aren't breaking barriers, they're cashing in. They cry about oppression on Monday, and by Friday, they've got a book deal in hand. They rail against injustice from their $1 million condos. It's not about change. It's about manipulating public sympathy for a fast track to fame and fortune. And the worst part? It works. The media eats it up. Maher calls out the game for what it is: opportunism disguised as activism. Thank God someone with a platform finally has the guts to say it.
I don't like what she did with Amazon in New York, but I think AOC she's a Democratic icon.
Well, she's the wrong. If you think that's the direction the country, the Democratic.
I'm not saying the policies that she espouses that's the direction, but I'm saying that you have to give the people who are out front speaking for the party, not the people who are.
If you think
she's evolving,
yeah, she's evolving,
and
as we all are,
and she is moving into
right.
She understands the game a little bit more, and if you notice, she is sort of becoming a sort of normal kind of Democrat in many ways.
Yes.
I think she's evolving.
Okay, great.
She's a very smart tactic. She's very smart.
Let's get behind that.
Race hustlers aren't smart. They're just loud and persistent. They don't stand on logic or integrity. They thrive on hashtags and viral headlines. What they lack in depth, they make up for with performative outrage. These aren't people looking for a discussion. They're aiming to hijack the narrative and shove their ideology into every conversation. And when they suddenly change their tune, it's not because they've had some moral revelation. It's about survival. Look at AOC. If she's shifting her position, it's not a wake-up call. No, it's a strategy. She sees the shift in the political winds. Wokeness isn't the winning ticket anymore. And AOC knows she needs to play the game differently if she wants to stay in power. It's all about pretending to be reasonable just long enough to make it to the next round. And with that, we wrap up today's video. Appreciate you tuning in. Catch you next time.